Hello, everyone, and welcome to an online education affair by Education Solutions, your international consultant agency named Study in Russia University Open Talks. During our online sessions, prospective international students explore the academic, professional, and personal opportunities offered by leading Russian universities. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this session dedicated to one of Russia's leading universities, Ural Federal University, or UrFU. And it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guests from Ural Federal University, Sergey Alexandrovich Zaransky. Sergey Alexandrovich
Hello,
Zaransky,
everybody. Greetings. Nice to meet you today.
nice to meet you too. And in the next 60 minutes, you will discover what it means to study in Ural Federal University, what academic programs are available for international students, why Yekaterinburg is an attractive and strategic student city, and how to begin your application journey to Russia. If you are serious about receiving a competitive, internationally recognized education in a dynamic environment, you are in the right place. My name is Asa, and I am an international student services specialist at Education Solutions. So, our company supports international students in selecting the right university in Russia and guides them through the full admission process, from choosing a program to arriving in Russia and adapting to student life. So today, we are proud to introduce Ural Federal University, one of the largest and most respected universities in Russia, recognized for its strong engineering, IT, natural sciences, economics, and humanities programs. So, UrFU is located in Yekaterinburg, the fourth largest city in Russia and the administrative center of the Ural region. Yekaterinburg is often described as the bridge between Europe and Asia and a major industrial, scientific, and cultural hub. For students, this means access to large industrial and international companies, research centers and technology parks, professional forums and academic conferences, and strong internship and networking opportunities. At the same time, Yekaterinburg offers a comfortable urban lifestyle, developed infrastructure, efficient public transport, and a vibrant student community. So, compared to Moscow and St. Petersburg, living costs here are more affordable, while academic quality and career prospects remain highly competitive. Mr. Sergey, please introduce Ural Federal University and tell us what makes it a strong choice for international students.
Thank you very much for having me today. Once again, I would like to reiterate words of gratitude to Education Solutions for the possibility to present the European University to you, the viewers, listeners, the participants of today's meeting. Without further ado, let us start with why study at the European University? A simple question which has to be responded to me today. And maybe by the end of my presentation, you will be able to understand why you would like to study here, or why would you consider us as your educational destination. First of all, we are a world-class university located in the very heart of Russia, as it has already been mentioned. We provide various programs and opportunities to our students, including courses taught entirely in English. We are a multicultural university family where different people from different continents and countries meet each other and study together, manage to achieve employment opportunities or to take them, uh, manage to take part in mobility programs abroad, and of course, are experiencing a comfortable living conditions within the one of the biggest cities in Russia. Without further ado, let us continue with a small talk on our location. It has already been mentioned we are located in the city of Yekaterinburg, the heart of Russia, at the Ural mountain range. It might seem a distant place. However, it's just 2 hour flight from Moscow and St. Petersburg, and for some countries it's even less because they are traveling from the other side of the world, which is, for example, China or Latin America. You can travel through Vladivostok and all the other airports on the way, so it takes less time for you to travel here. We are quite versatile in terms of the seasons of the year. So it can be snowing in May or be blazing hot in April. It depends. Every year is a new one. So there is nothing to tell more about this particular part. Please make sure you read a little bit more about what the Yekaterinburg nature is like, the climate is like before you travel here, so that you are ready to the specific time of the year you're traveling in. That is important. Now, it has already been mentioned we are considered the fourth or the third, it depends on what rankings do we use, city in Russia, and usually in the country people speak of Yekaterinburg as a third capital of Russia due to its historical significance and other feats, including current economical development, I'm sorry, and the scientific and cultural capital we managed to produce and sustain. We are one of the biggest diplomatic centers of Russia as well. Currently, more than 20 diplomatic institutions are located in the Yekaterinburg. Recently, this year, the India's embassy or and consulate has opened in our city, and it is operating right now. So if you're from India and you are struggling with getting to Russia, well, that's your starting point, I suppose. You may ask your compatriots working at your embassy in our city, what it's like here, and not to take into consideration all the students studying in the UrFU University. You also may contact them in person if you wish. We have strong academic international societies formed by our students. Now, I would like to tell you more about what the UrFU University is in a short amount of figures listed on this slide. So we are a 100 years old, or more than 100 years old university. This year we have turned 106-year old, or we will turn mostly. Currently, we have managed to achieve more than 50,000 of students, including around 5,000 of international students studying with us who came here from more than 100 nations of the world. And we provide various educational opportunities and programs to people studying here, thanks to our faculty members, more than 100 of whom are international uh, professors. I'm sorry, I will take just a short moment to respond to one visitor staying beyond my desk here and will return to you. Just allow me a moment.
So now we can see what Yekaterinburg looks like.
And yeah, I am back. Sorry, there was just a sudden visitor. Could not tell the international student just to leave without anything. So at least I should have responded something to them. And back to our cast today. We are comprised of 13 institutes, actually 14, but one of them is unavailable for both international and Russian citizens to study in. It's a research institute. So nobody studies there, they just conduct research there. And all of that is located in the center of the city mostly. I will later talk about new opportunities our university provides to its students, which are recent in not just emergence of them, but also in terms of construction. They have buildings, other faculties, etc. I will stop on that later. One of the most important feats an international applicant looks to when choosing the destination for his studies, whether it's Russia or something else, is of course the competitiveness, if I may call it like that, of education received at a certain academic institution. We, by the course of history, managed to achieve 419th position in the Quacquarello Simmons World University rankings, and you can see some major points, major positions we take within subject areas of this same ranking. Additionally, we are, of course, a part of many other rankings existing in the world. One of them is the Shanghai World University Ranking, and there our colleagues in China consider us being the fourth and the sixth position of a university in Russia. So just in Russia, they do not have this universal ranking. Now, coming next is the main issue for almost everybody in the world when it comes to education abroad. Studying abroad is, of course, the language skills problem. It's universal for any part of the world, so regardless of where you're from and where you're going to, unless you speak the same language. Russian is hard to crack, of course, but we try to deal with that in our own way. Specifically for those people who are willing to study Russian, to learn Russian as it is, we provide language school preparatory courses divided into major variations of those courses. One would be the Russian as a foreign language program, and the other one is named Foundation Year. The first one is language and language only. You study how to speak, how to write, how to understand what is being spoken to you, and to try think in Russian. The second one is more practically oriented in terms of additional educational training. For example, you will be trying to learn maths in Russian, not just learning Russian. So you will know how to use it in connection to the future education you're going to consider joining into. Would it be bachelor's, master's, PhD degree program? Everything is covered with that kind of a foundation here. You can see approximate prices and information about the course on the slide. If you wish to know more about it, feel free to contact my colleague, the Russian language course admission manager, Mikhail Kapirin. His email is down below at this slide. Coming next would be the bachelor degree programs, the core of our university, of course. We cover almost every major area of research and science, except for probably medicine. The only exception here is we are not, of course, a medical university. We do not have surgery, dentistry, something like that. We do not have specialties related to animal farming and all those specific, quite narrow fields of research. However, even in terms of medical education, we have several programs and specialist degree related to this big, huge part of human life, which would be programs in medical biotechnology, medical cybernetics, or prosthetics, and medical physics, and additional program in pharmaceutical development. All of that is a part of the bachelor degree track, although the degree you will receive in the end is a little bit bigger than the bachelor's degree in general in the world. We have a specific form of education in Russia called specialist degree. Almost the same as bachelor's, takes a little bit longer to finish, yet you receive a diploma which is recognized worldwide. Approximate tuition fee for a year is 200 2,000, I'm sorry, and 500 United States dollars per year. However, that is subject to change. It may be changed due to inflation rates, etc. For now, we are changing the information at our website. So if this information does not correspond current world uh, currency exchange situation, well, feel free to browse our website to see the fees in rubles, which is the currency of Russia, of course. You will have to pay in rubles. So try to convert that to your currency. Uh, and we also have three programs taught partially in English. Around 20 to 50% of classes there are taught in English. However, all the other classes are taught in Russian. So it's not something you would consider if you wish to learn Russian as it is, as a language. So if you're not thinking just to receive an education, but also to understand what Russian is, I would not suggest choosing those programs. However, they are quite good in what they do, what they teach. So feel free to browse them as well. That is a perfect solution for those of you who will be hesitant about their level of Russian, who will understand that it's not enough of their language skills. It will not be enough to cover all those difficulties with the understanding and assessing material you're being provided by professors at classes being held at the Ural University. The next thing, of course, is the thing we as a university are oriented at right now is the master degree programs. And since we understand that Russian is hard, we have entirely English taught programs in the Ural University. At the master degree level, there are 13 of those programs, and you may join any of them or many more in Russian, of course. The approximate tuition fee for these programs is 3,000 United States dollars per year. However, that can be lowered due to a discount program existing in our university. You may utilize this opportunity if you pass entrance exams well enough. Uh, for example, if you receive 70 or more points during your entrance interview with a professor, you will be able to achieve a discount for any program at the master degree level you wish, provided, of course, you have managed to pass the entrance exam itself. We also strive for a research and scientific development of the world, and precisely because of that, we provide more than 40 doctoral or PhD programs taught in English, many more in Russian, of course. I am not a guru in what it is. I may tell some details about them if you will ask me personally, but not all of the programs here can be covered by me because my office works with bachelor's and master degree admission, and we have a dedicated office for PhD students admission. You can see the contact information on the slide and feel free to scan the QR code. It will lead you to a page with more detailed information about what we can provide you with in terms of doctoral or PhD degree education. You might be wondering, it's good to study anywhere. Where am I going to live in? What my life is going to be like? Don't you worry, we have at least 50 dormitories located all over Yekaterinburg, but most of them, around 10 of them, are located close to the main academic building. Some of them are a little bit further away, but still not too far. Since the city is not too big, you may Google it if you wish. We are big in terms of population, but small in terms of the amount of land we take. And these 15 dormitories can provide more than 7,500 of accommodation places for our students, including international students. And the approximate fee of accommodation would be around 30 United States dollars per month. However, that is subject to change, unfortunately, due to recent changes in the uh, several codes of law of Russian Federation. So it's not an easy part to talk about because they may change even tomorrow. We can't tell for sure. Nevertheless, feel free to contact us. We will try to provide you with an updated information as the time passes by. Since many of you might be interested in the sports facilities, in anything related to hobbies, etc., we have our university located in such a way that all the sports facilities are quite close to the places of your studies, main courses, and the accommodation places themselves, to the dormitories, of course. So it's not too far. All the dormitories are not too far from both the university and our sports halls, ice skating rinks, etc. So and the pool as well is close enough to both the university and the dormitories. So it's out of the question taking a ride on a bicycle or whatever at the university's sports halls, etc. Now, I have already mentioned that we are trying to launch some new additions to the what the university is, not just in terms of educational possibilities and opportunities, but also as part of our infrastructural opportunities and possibilities we can provide our students with. And since 2023, we are operating a new world-class campus. It's a specific program launched by the government of Russia. The first iteration of this program has been launched at the premises of our university during the International University Sports Festival in 2023. Currently, by today, that new world class campus is not just dormitories and sports facilities, it is also two huge academic buildings that which are operated by two of our major institutes. One would be, in short, IT Institute. The other one is Graduate School of Economics and Management. The classes, the professors are going to be there pretty soon because the buildings have been brought into operating procedures fairly recently in January of this year, basically. They are brand new and you will be able to experience them yourselves since the if you choose, for example, preparatory courses, All the classes of preparatory courses students are being held at this new world-class campus. So it's quite short in terms of time you need to spend traveling from your dormitory to the classroom because it's like 5 or 10 minutes by foot, maybe at maximum, maybe even less. I didn't try to go downstairs from the eighth floor of the dormitory at this new campus to the classroom myself, so I can't tell for sure here. Nevertheless, it's not a big of a deal. Anyways, you might be wondering where will you be able to find employment at? Well, if it will be difficult for you to find your company place abroad, you may be interested in joining our research facilities of the UrFU University, even while you're a student of uh, our university. That has to be discussed with your supervising professors, academic staff, of course. Still, it's possible. All these people on the slide were students of our university, have graduated from it. Some of them started to work as research officers before they even have graduated from us. It's not a big deal, not a problem. Try your luck, it will work out, as it did with these lads here. You might be wondering what would be the life of the student here apart from having classes, sports, hobbies. To say it's a busy one would be a great understatement. We have more than 200 sports, social, and cultural events being held throughout the year. That includes the Friendship of Nations Festival, New Year's Eve Ball, and New Year's Eve celebration for several cultures of the Middle East and Central Asia as well. We have dedicated language clubs, support, and specifically for newcomers, we have an adaptation center, which job is to make you feel as comfortable as it would have been your home. If you're skillful enough and will be able to prove your knowledge, research, and academic skills throughout studies at the UrFU University, you will be able to take part in mobility programs abroad in approximately 40 countries. We have partnership agreements set with. All of that will be available to you if you become the student of UrFU University yourself. Now, I would like to stop a little bit on the admission procedure. This year, the admission officially starts in June 20th. You may contact us any day if you wish to check some information, check some facts. However, the document submission period starts on June 20th officially. So until that time, you're free to prepare the documents listed here on the slide. Note that the probably not the most important, but one of the most problematic in achieving in the process of achievement of that document would be the consular legalization and apostille for your academic documents. It's legally required to submit all academic documents with that kind of stamp or an additional paper list supplement to the diploma and transcript of grades you have. It depends on the country. You need to verify if you need it or not. For example, People's Republic of China citizens do not require that, while Pakistani citizens do require that due to various legal details of international communication on the ambassadors' levels. So it's not about the university, it's about international communication in terms of academic exchange. So that your diploma, which will be issued by us if you graduate from us, will later be recognized in your country. It's not just as simple as receiving the diploma. No. And it's not as easy as to submit the diploma you have with no translations as well. It won't do. We need everything simultaneously. And in terms of exams, this year, the bachelor degree exam will consist of three tests, computer-based tests, in Russian and two subjects related to a specific program. It can be maths, it can be sociology, it can be history, it can be language, in English language. It depends on the program, of course. Uh, for the master degree applications, however, the entrance exams are comprised of interviews with professors who will be teaching you later in the future. So take your time to read about that and to read about the exams, about the documents, to contact us, to ask some questions. It's perfectly fine to do that even now. As for the interview, I will just stress a little bit that there is no universal program of an interview. Each professor has his or her own vision of what it has to be. There will be, of course, general questions like what are you going to do during your research? What is your plan for your studies? These are general questions, but they may be specific. Like, why did you consider this research topic? Because I am a specialist in something and I do that. Do you think it will be connected to yours? Something like that. It can be difficult a little bit, although, well, I do not. I do not remember anybody who has failed at the master degree exam interview, because it's a negotiation of sorts. Everything is up to you here, not just the professor. Now, coming back to my first question to you, why would anyone choose the Ural University? Well, personally, I cannot see anything stopping you from doing so. However, the choice is, of course, yours to make. Feel free to browse through our website, see for yourself what we have to offer. Join our YouTube, Twitter, Telegram channels to see the vibrant and eventful life of the Ural University, to stay in touch with us any time of the day. Before we finish, I would like to talk a little bit about the scholarship opportunities you might be wondering about through the course of my presentation today. There are two major ways of getting a scholarship. One is through the Russian houses. I will not stop on that. The other one is through the Russian scholarship project called Open Doors. That is a specific kind of academic competition uh, dedicated for international applicants who wish to study in Russia. And it is organized by 24 universities of Russia, including the UrFU University. By the end of it, you will be able to obtain not just a scholarship, which will cover the costs of the tuition fees, you will also be able to apply for a specific form of a grant, which will cover traveling expenses, insurance expenses, accommodation fees, and additional stipend for living expenses as well. I will not delve deeper into this specific point here, because this year is the first year when we are testing this grant system. So I'm not quite sure how it will operate in details. However, it has already launched. The first winners of the Olympiad, of the last year's Olympiad, actually have received their grants, as far as I know. Some of them are receiving the funds right now, some of them are to receive them in the future. Nevertheless, take a look to open all the doors for yourself with our Olympiad, or the Russian scholarship project called Open Doors. That is it for today. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the floor to speak with you. If you have any questions, I'm free to respond to them right away.
Thank you, Mr. Sergey, for your detailed and such an interesting presentation. So yes, our international students, future international students, have a lot of questions. So they have an opportunity to ask them now. So the first question is, what makes Ural Federal University unique compared to other universities in Russia, especially those in Moscow or St. Petersburg?
Well, first of all, probably, if I'm not mistaken, I may be, but mind that you may also try to assess the information I'm giving to you right now on your own and consider it being a proof or nothing. Nevertheless, our university is unique in terms of its versatility of education. We cover, unlike many other universities in Russia, almost all areas of research, except for, as I said, medical, like surgery, that is unique to medical institutions of Russia, not to general classic academic universities like ours is. However, being a classic university is not the end for us. We have managed to grab some practically oriented specialties into this general classic university education and build upon it bigger um, a better understanding of how can a person be taught this or that thing. And also the other unique point about this university in particular is that we were constructed uh, by a merger between various academic institutions. So All those years of history of other universities which are a part of our university today and are older than we are, so to speak, were incorporated into the academic culture of your Federal University today. And you will be able to assess it on your own, being here in Yekaterinburg yourself. And the last thing would be, of course, the location itself. Being in the middle of Russia opens up a lot of opportunities for experiments, for research. And I'm not talking about experiments in terms of laboratory experiments. No, experiments in terms of your own life and living experiences you may take. Russia is vast. Living in Moscow, you will be able, oh, it's in Petersburg, you will be able to see like 10, 15% of what Russia is. Being in Yekaterinburg, you can travel in both directions, and it will take not as much time as from Moscow to here, or to even Vladivostok, which is far away. Even though flying or taking a train from here to Vladivostok is, of course, less in time when traveling from Moscow. That is also a good thing to consider while choosing a university you are to study in Russia, because after all, you're going not just to uh, visit classes for 4 or for 2 or for 5 or 3 years, depends on the level of education you're going to attend to, but also you're going to live in the premises of the university you have chosen as your academic destination. And it is important to be sure that you can obtain as much valuable experience of that as possible. After all, we are only living once, probably, so it's better to take all the opportunities available at an instance. And I suppose the Ural University is one, not the best, but one of the best opportunities for that. That's probably the only response I may give to such a question.
Thank you so much. And also, if you have another question, so you've mentioned that international students have an opportunity to have a job, to work at your university. But could you share a success story of an international graduate who found a great job after studying at UrFU, but not at the UrFU University?
Yeah, there are several of them. Actually, I would like to stop on the one who is a part of the embassy right now, and the embassy of Kazakhstan, so to speak. I do have other examples, but this one is unique since the person who is, I do not remember exactly his position right now at this moment, because at first he was just an assistant. Of course, everybody starts with something small. Right now is something else because it has been like 3 or maybe 4 years since this person has taken into the office. Maybe he is chief officer of some area of the embassy, but the person still works there. And the unique part about this person in particular is that he was not a student of international relations faculty. He is an engineer. So yeah, that is a different thing, a different story. It might be peculiar that usually people get a good job in the same area of research and studies they were a part of. However, the problem is today's life is too complicated or overtwined. I'm sorry, with in together in itself. So that while studying to be, I don't know, a nuclear engineer, you may end up being a professor of philosophy. It's a different feed. It's a particular different kind of mentality you have to think of when choosing an academic destination, and that is what our university has to offer. It provides you not just with some skills; it's something else, something in addition to what you have had before. So it's a possibility for growth, not just a possibility to obtain a good job. We are not even thinking about just the good job. You have to obtain a better life than you have had when you were joining us. That's the final point here. That's what we are oriented at, not just for our graduates, but for the world in itself. Because, well, the more students we have, the more graduates we have, the better life they have, the better life we have, and all of us have in the end. That's the final goal, although unachievable at large, I suppose. In the end, maybe in 50 years, we'll be able to assess the impact. For now, it's just hope, faith, knowledge, research, understanding, and all that in together, I suppose.
Thank you so much. Yes, you're absolutely right. And this story about the Kazakhstan student is like a real story of success. Yeah. And also, one more question. So, what challenges should international students be prepared for entering the university?
Well, it depends on what we consider a challenge. Some people believe that there is nothing which obstructs them from doing anything, and that's a good life view, a good idea to bear in mind. Some people believe that everything is a challenge. So there is a big gap between those two groups of people. If we're talking about not the challenges, but rather small issues a student might get into when applying or when studying at the European University, there would be three of them, probably. The first one is people, students, applicants usually misunderstand how the application is conducted. So I will just try to return to the slide. Yeah, to this one. Uh, that is important, literally. We did not put this information just for you to read, and that's it. Try to understand it. Try to review it. If you might have questions about it, ask us right away, because in the end, it may be obstructing your admission itself. Just as an example of that, some people deny the idea of legalization and then approaching us, submitting the documents without that. Here, that we are, well, not upset, but we are asking them to submit it, and they wonder why should they do that. Well, didn't we tell you so? That's the question which comes from us to them. That is uh, rather not even a mistake, it's a misunderstanding. People believe that something is not important. Everything is important. That's your life after all. It should be important, isn't it? Next, not, I wouldn't call it an obstacle or a problem, rather an issue would be the um, issues related to studying in Russian. That may be difficult, of course. You need to try as hard as you can to learn the language, to speak it. However, it does not mean that 90%, 99% of the university will not be able to help you out if you can't speak fluently. So do not feel frightened by the language. It should not serve as a barrier. It should serve as a ladder you climb to get better in something. Or would it be education or just buying bread at the grocery stores? What whatever that is not an obstacle in itself, and the language is also a solvable thing. Uh, the a good example of that would be there were some students of the Chinese descent who were struggling with Russian. The phonetics is different; they can't speak it the same way we do, or for example, Spanish students do, because for them learning a language with the same phonetical structure is easier than for the Chinese students. And I'm not taking into consideration like Indians, Pakistani students, African students who have different phonetics as well. For them, it's also easier than for the Chinese students, for example. And one of them has fairly recently defended his thesis. The only problem for him was he was quite fluent in Russian. He was afraid to speak it. And until his final thesis defense, that was the problem for him to actually make the professors understand what is his ideas on this or that topic. He was trying to speak English, although he spoke Russian as well. He was just frightened to do so. So do not be frightened of that. That's also not an obstacle, not a mistake, rather a misunderstanding of how should you mm, express yourself or try to achieve some feats in both the educational sphere and the life you will have with us here at the Ural University. And the third thing is uh, I would like to stress upon is not considering the time as the main resource you have. Uh, what I'm implying at right now is not that you will have 4 years of studies, take everything out of that. No, time is also a major resource in terms of visa extension, which might be a difficulty. It's also a major resource when we are talking about getting a dormitory. If you are late at least like 15 minutes, it may be difficult to amend the issue which has started developing when you did not arrive on time. So being on time or in time, considering this thing as something valuable, is a good point of start for getting an education abroad in general, regardless whether it's the Ural University or not. But the issues of students are quite universal all the time. Somebody has issues with getting a dormitory in time. Somebody has issues with traveling in time. Somebody has issues with getting into the university in time. Consider this when you are applying to the Ural University. We are open, well, almost all the week, except for weekend, of course, or national holidays. We are open for your emails, for your feedback, for your questions. But we are also living beings, and we also need time for our own leisure expenditure. So make sure that you ask right questions at the right time, you do right decisions at the right time, and then in the end, regardless of the university you choose, it will be uh, a good or a better experience of your life if you do everything when it should be done. So that's probably about it. The three things I would like to stop on, which are time, understanding that every part of application process to any university is important, and not trying not being frightened by major obstacles which are to come your way eventually. That happens to all of us. I did not start, and my colleague here did not start speaking English when we were like 1 year old. No, it has come with experience and with life to pass. Take your take your luck. Try yourself out. Join the Ural University. We will help you out with that.
Thank you, Mr. Sugray. You're absolutely right. And thank you for such detailed and encouraging answers. So it's clear that UrFU offers not just a strong academic foundation, but also a genuine launch pad for an international career. So as we've seen, the opportunities here in Yekaterinburg are immense. And but we also know that for many students, turning this opportunity into reality can feel like a big step. So that is exactly where education solutions comes in. Think of us as your personal guide through the entire process, and we specialize in taking the complexity out of applying in Russian universities. From the moment you decide which program is right for you, all the way to the day you arrive on campus, we are by your side. So our mission is to make your journey to Russia as smooth and stress-free as possible, so you can focus on your studies and your future. Thank you so much for your attention, and thank you for listening to our beautiful, amazing presentation. Thank you, Sergey, for for your presentation. Yes, and for answering.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So that is the end of our presentation for today. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye bye.